When the going gets tough, the business owner needs to get tougher. The burden of recovery is not only carried by the help of financial institutions or the government, you have a role to play. I'm Khalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Mark Tracey is project executive of the PSOJ'S Access to Finance for SME Project. He's back to tell us how you, the business owner, can play a role in fortifying your business in tough financial times. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. All right. So in this time, you've pivoted. A lot of businesses have had to pivot. What are some ways that small businesses and medium enterprises too can take control of their own destiny and their own path to recovery?
Okay. So in regards to, small businesses looking on what is happening, given COVID, and looking at what they can do in order to pivot, to stay afloat until, all this is over and, the vaccines have been rolled out, is for them to look in the ecosystem to see the various programs that are available through the various government entities and also through private sector entities that will help them to stabilize the ship, through funding, through venture capital, and through various means of technical support and trading. So there are lots of different avenues by which these small businesses can, weather the storm of COVID.
And what type of resources does the PSOJ have there at this new initiative, the Access to Finance for SME Project? What types of help is available?
Okay, so, I will start with COVID Cast, which we launched last year. Nevada Power, our chief architect, would have designed that program. And we have all, been on board in terms of training, in terms of giving resources, in terms of asking, and giving inference as to where small businesses can find help. So one of the mechanisms that we've put in place was our conference last week, March 5th to 6th, where we showcase the Go Digital initiative around how small businesses can pivot in order to survive using e-commerce platforms, using online-based solutions, in providing services and having their goods available to persons through online portals.
So looking at all of this, one of the big challenges is making sure that you are financially viable. If you're not financially viable, you're not really in business, are you? You're a failed business. So how can businesses ensure that they remain financially viable even in this trying time?
So, during this trying time, one of my firm recommendations is for small businesses that have a relationship with their banks, whether it is they have a loan with their particular bank, or it is that they're looking to get financing, to go be upfront, have the conversation with their banks around, what it is they can do in order to, one, qualify for a loan and get the best interest rate possible during this time. Also, they can look on the loans that they already have to see how they can restructure and have some level of moratorium if it is that they need time in order to recoup and then start repaying their loans. And also, there are channels through the BIGEE, which they would have come out with their BIGEE initiative, and that is boosting innovation, growth, and entrepreneurship in the ecosystem. That program is looking to help small businesses to have access to funds. So that's another channel by which, a small business can look to find funding.
Yeah, but how do you know which one of these initiatives is right for you and how effective they are?
Yeah, great question. So one of the things we've done in the FFP program, we've looked on the various mechanisms and, where the various businesses find themselves in the whole pandemic. And you're looking on what we've come up with is 5 different mediums by which businesses can assess themselves as to where they're at. You can be a business that would have, been okay and will be okay after COVID, for example. You might be a business that might need to pivot. you might be a business that, because of demand destruction, aka because of the pandemic, those services are no longer needed. Then from there, you need to pivot. So in terms of understanding where you're at, then you can have an idea of where you can go to find funding. So for small businesses that are pivoting, for example, they'll be looking to take on new services, new products. And by that means, I think, for example, the BIGEE program would be a program that they would want to look at, where you get funding to create new initiatives around technology to boost your business in a new channel.
Now, here's a loaded question, Mark. Who should bear the brunt of economic recovery? Because you have the governments, they're doing their work. You have businesses, but who should bear the primary responsibility for that?
That's a very loaded question. I will take it from the angle to say it's around a balance. So, from our thoughts in regards to the work that would have been done at the PSOJ, we found that in our studies, absolutely a large chunk of the economy and economic activity happens because of the MSME space. So you're talking about 40 to about 60% of economic activity is brought on by MSMEs and what they do for the country. So in that regard, there are some onus around, one, the government helping where they can in regards to ensuring that the economy is stabilized and keeps afloat. And that is because of the fact that MSMEs are important, the government has to play their part in assessing the damage, in helping the MSMEs where they can help. And also for the private sector, in terms of their help as well, from the bank side, what can banks do, for example, being a part of the private sector in regards to giving forbearance in moratoriums, easy access to loans. And you're talking about your venture capitals in the private sphere as well can help. And even the small businesses in themselves, seeking the proper training and guidance in helping them to weather the storm. So I believe it's a two-pronged approach where everybody needs to be on board, because ultimately the economy wins because of that.
Absolutely, Mark. We have to all work together. Everybody has their role to play. The government has their role to play. The business sector has their role to play. We cannot do it in isolation. So thank you so much for giving me those resources, and continue doing what you're doing there at the PSOJ Access to Finance Project. It's stellar
Great
work.
Thank you for having us.
Now here's a recap of Mark's main points. SMEs should take advantage of the DBJ's BIGEE program that looks to help businesses access funds. Entrepreneurs can use the PSOJ's online assessment to understand where you are financially. The links are in the description below. And small businesses should seek proper training and guidance to help you weather the storm.
As a business owner, your business is, well, your responsibility, which is why you need to play an active role in its financial recovery. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website at eximbankja.com and visit my website, KalilaReynolds.com, for a summary of this episode. You can click the link up here or in the description box below. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Until next time.